The only thing I had also was, as part of the meeting, we had a report from Scott Wagner on the Tri-Lakes well. That was checked again and found that that's still contaminated, and we're going to have to either shut down and abandon that well or drill another well. We haven't got a price on it yet, but that is an issue that we'll have to deal with next spring at least. It was talked about that we should get a hold of the Tri-Lakes Property Owners Association and see if they want to keep the park open or not. I mean, we just need to deal with what to do with it. Is it being used? Is it not being used? So we need to look at that. We had a financial committee meeting. It recommended $500,000 to invest in municipal bonds. Ryan Wilson was in to explain what the municipal bonds were. You know, we didn't want to really invest too much in the municipal bonds at this time because they're not paying much more than what we can get on CDs or anything else.
What was best they were paying?
Like 1.7.
Even school bonds?
Yeah. What she's waiting for right now is for the South Whitley, for the Whitco's school bonds, and we want to at least put another $500,000 to $1 million in the Whitco bonds, and that would help our community out at the same time that we were looking at municipal bonds. But I think what we decided was just to take it a little bit at a time rather than invest. We got $16 million at this point, and in investments, and I think she just wanted to see if we could do better than the 0.1 or the 0.3 that we're getting right now. She said, what was it, back in 2005, 2006, we were getting up on our 16 million, we were getting like $750,000 a year on our investments, and now we're 50,000 at the most. It's pretty sad that everybody's that way. And then we also had the presentation by J&K for the dispatch, and we didn't have a vote, but we had, and we didn't have a consensus. There were two of us that thought that maybe we should go with the whole system. One thought maybe just get the upgrade, but the money's the issue. We know that. And, you know, where are we going to get $266,000?
The other frustrating thing about that whole deal is technology is changing so fast. Things will be obsolete before you can get
That's why I like the lease proposal, maybe. That's the thing, I think,
Yeah.
because of the changes.
Yeah, I think that would be a great idea.
So 6 years ago, we invested $240,000 in the system that we had now, and it's outdated 6 years from now.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And remember, some of that, like the cabling, we don't know if that's a real issue. I mean, cables can be checked to see if they're, just like pipes. You can have a pipe forever and ever and it's still doing its job.
Well, especially if it's just laying there. If you're moving it around and
Right,
actually
now I
wearing
can
on it.
understand if you need different ends or you need a different cable strength. We can understand that, but just to replace it. Have you guys, the commissioners talk at all more about having a small group to kind of look over that whole process
And that's something that we'd really like to do too, is really, we need to go to Huntington County. Huntington is just changing theirs over. We need to go to Kosciuszko is just done a changeover. Wabash. We need to really go to some of the other counties and see what they've got and what they've done, rather than trying to just, you know, we're listening to J&K, and Ted's a great guy, but we need to really look into this.
And here's some pros and cons. They may have some pros and cons.
Yeah. And I would suggest that we have maybe a 3-person committee, one from council, commissioner, and maybe an outside person. I've been approached by a couple of people that would like to deal with that if we do, look into it.
George, is this something that, these radios, is this something that maybe you could work into the CETA plan?
I'm sure we could. Yeah, right now, part of the problem that I've got, we're just working on the CETA plan right now, and we haven't really gotten into it in depth, but the only thing we have major anymore is Mark has come up with like $167,000 for the courthouse needs, but I think we can take that out into 2 or 3 years rather than doing it all at once.
We increased increased the Cume cap, so some of that can come out of that.
And remember, that was slated for bridges. So it's-
Bridget, 100,000.
So what do you guys think about that committee that George is talking about?
Well, I think we need to have someone who's an expert, and I'm looking down the table and don't see too many except one.
Well, I do love it.
Well, but you understand that.
Yeah, I get it. And I'm used to reviewing those contracts, so I do that for a living. All the contracts that come in and the numbers and what you're actually getting, it looks like all gibberish, but, so I would probably enjoy that committee if I was
Would
allowed
you
to
be
serve
late
on
to
it.
the meetings?
Not if I know Pam has coffee waiting for me. Yeah,
But I think Jim's right too. I think we need to look at that rental or the leasing
Lease
part
for
of
it,
it. That could be.
But I'm not sure that I'm in favor of a 10-year one, because I don't think they'll last that long.
Yeah,
Well, but if they don't, they've got to upgrade, don't they?
yeah, yeah.
They just have to do the upgrades.
They'd have to
on
know
it.
how,
The upgrades.
you'd have to know how it reads. The contract is everything.
yeah, normally though, what it would do is that they'd upgrade it, but your cost would change as well, so
But
your
your
leasing
lease will
contract
change.
would change.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to have it built in at least for 5-6 years at least.
Yeah.
At a fixed rate, and then beyond that, if there's any changes need to be made, why then, but changes with their approval, not ours so much as theirs, because I wouldn't want Ted just to say, hey, we want to upgrade this stuff, and all of a sudden,
Yeah.
he's
And you would also have other companies come in to put a bid in on it, and
Well, at those figures, you gotta have bids.
Well, are there a lot of companies that do the same thing?
Well, that's what I was trying to think,
you got emergency radio service.
yeah, ERS is
ERS.
one.
I don't know, the only ones I-
Digital is possibly another, but, that's something that you could find out, get some names. The thing I think is important too is communication with the department. I mean, we gotta know why they're looking at this, what they're looking at, but I also believe it's, let's not get a Cadillac if a Chevy will do, kind of thing.
Well, yeah.
Well, I like working with Ted, but I still think it's good to have other.
Yes. Part of the problem is you've got DRS that has Motorola, and you have J&K that has Zetron. And this whole area, that's who everybody uses, that I've heard
Either
anyway.
one or the other.
Yeah.
The city does not use J&K, I know that.
Who's Huntington, did Ted put that in down there?
I'm not sure.
I think he said
He dropped
today or
Huntington down
yesterday.
as a name.
Yeah.
He dropped it as a
Cost
name.
the house,
I'm
or
pretty
does he
sure
do
that
or
he
do you
said
know?
that.
Well, I was gonna ask him, but I know the, Ron Robinson down there, who used to be the sheriff, who's now the county administrator, so I could ask him, but they have a combined dispatch too, that he was on the ground floor and establishing.
And the commissioners have got a great opportunity coming up here at the end of the month, because we've got the AIC conference, and we'll be able to talk to other commissioners and work with them and try to see what they're using, and what their thoughts are.
Now, George, would this be something, this upgrade, would that be something that we need if Parkview would take over the?
Yeah, that had nothing to do with the
Yeah.
GMS.
Oh, yes, it did. They said that they would set in place our dispatch equipment, that we wouldn't,
Parkview?
yeah, remember
no-
they said that they would provide dispatching, does anybody
Well,
else
they're gonna
remember
do
that?
that down at Huntington though, that's not gonna be.
Well, I
here.
know, but that's what I'm saying, is that we could jump on that bandwagon with the rest of these counties and have our dispatching. Cause at first I was like,
That's just the EMS dispatching.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
that,
yeah,
you're right,
EMS.
EMS dispatching, that
It-
would like
that's-
to do that.
That's
yes.
not
Yeah,
the whole umbrella.
that's not,
No.
yeah, right.
No.
Just
No,
one
but it's a
component.
Yeah.
part of it.
drummer,
Yeah, they wouldn't take on, or they're not capable of taking on our
Police and
911.
fire and-
Yeah,
Police now.
Okay,
That's it.
all right, thanks, George.
okay, but wait a minute, don't let this go by again, am I officially on this committee, or you
You're
guys need a
on.
vote?
You're on, don't be
Okay.
late.
Cause last time you dropped it like a hot potato, so I was
Well, yeah, but you were late to the meeting.
don't put that in paper,
Yeah,
please.
I'm recording that. Tom Western said no.
Yeah.
Okay,
They're never gonna let me live that down.
Jen, declaration of county tax rates?